What if the most annoying creatures on Earth suddenly vanished, and humanity followed them into extinction? Sounds impossible, right? After all, insects are tiny, fragile, easy to crush. But hidden beneath their buzzing wings is a truth so shocking that scientists say, without them, civilization could collapse. Think about it. Mosquitoes spread deadly diseases. Wasps ruin picnics. Caterpillars chew through gardens. So if every insect disappeared tomorrow, the world would finally become a better place, right? At first, it would look that way. Farmers would celebrate. No more swarms destroying crops. No more pesticides covering fields. Gardens would flourish. Backyards would feel safer. Summers would seem perfect. But here's the strange part. The victory would be incredibly short-lived. You see, insects aren't just pests. They're the invisible workforce keeping Earth alive. In fact, if every insect on the planet were placed on a giant scale, they would outweigh all humans combined hundreds of times over. And that's not even the craziest part. Ants alone are believed to outweigh humanity. So what happens when an entire kingdom of life disappears overnight? At first, the silence would be unsettling. No buzzing, no chirping, no movement in the grass. Then the first cracks would appear. Small birds would begin starving. Frogs would struggle to find food. Lizards would disappear from entire regions. And that's when things changed. Because insects aren't just part of the food chain. They're the foundation holding it together. Remove the foundation, and everything above it starts falling. The question is, how far up the chain does that collapse go? The answer is far more terrifying than most people realize. As insects vanish, entire ecosystems begin unraveling. First come the frogs, reptiles, and small birds that depend on insects for survival. Their populations crash. Then predators that hunt those animals begin disappearing too. One collapse triggers another, like dominoes falling across the planet. But here's where it gets weird. Even if you somehow avoided eating animals, you still wouldn't be safe. Because the real disaster isn't happening in forests or rivers. It's happening in fields. Flowers would still bloom for a while. Trees would still look healthy. The world might appear normal. But hidden beneath the surface, a countdown would already be ticking. Around 80% of Earth's plant species rely on pollination to reproduce. And most of that work is done by insects. Bees, butterflies, moths, wasps, flies, tiny creatures most people barely notice. Without them, pollen stops moving. Plants stop reproducing. Harvests begin shrinking. And suddenly, supermarket shelves start looking very different. No apples, no strawberries, no tomatoes, no rice, no wheat, no almonds, no coffee, no chocolate. What happens next changes everything. The food supply starts collapsing worldwide. Livestock lose their feed. Cattle populations fall. Chickens become scarce. Fish populations decline as aquatic ecosystems break apart. It no longer matters whether you're vegan, vegetarian, or a devoted meat lover. Everyone faces the same problem. There simply isn't enough food. But even this isn't the worst consequence. Because another hidden crisis is about to emerge. And it could make the planet itself feel unrecognizable. By now, humanity is already struggling to survive. But nature still has one final surprise. A horrifying one. Because insects don't just pollinate plants and feed animals. They clean the planet. Every day, billions of insects break down dead leaves, fallen trees, animal remains, and organic waste. Without them, decomposition slows dramatically. And that's when the world begins drowning in its own leftovers. Dead plants pile up. Animal carcasses remain for months. Waste accumulates across forests, fields, and cities. The Earth starts looking less like a thriving planet and more like a giant landfill. And this is the twist nobody sees coming. The creatures we spend so much time swatting away are actually among the most important forms of life on Earth. The insects we fear. The insects we ignore. The insects we wish would disappear. They're silently holding civilization together. Every meal you eat, every fruit tree you pass, every ecosystem you depend on. Somewhere in the background, insects are making it possible. Remove them, and the entire system begins to collapse. Not instantly, not dramatically, but relentlessly. One missing piece at a time. And that realization changes everything. Because maybe insects were never the problem. Maybe they were the hidden heroes all along. So the next time you see a bee hovering near a flower or an ant crossing the sidewalk, remember this. That tiny creature may be doing more for your survival than you realize. And it leaves us with one unsettling question. If humanity depends so completely on insects, what other invisible systems are keeping our world alive right now?